Hello, everybody, and welcome to Orange Shades Podcast. That's right, the Orange Shades Podcast. This week, as Clemson takes on Louisville. Louisville comes into Clemson this weekend, and it's going to be a great time in Death Valley. We have not seen Louisville since last year, so Louisville comes in at 5-3 overall, 3-2 in the ACC. But before we get started, I want to thank everybody over at Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina. That's Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina. Also, we want to thank Hyundai of Anderson. Go by see Herschel over at Hyundai of Anderson. He will take care of you, give you a great deal. Use code GSM. That's code GSM at Hyundai of Anderson, and Herschel will give you a special deal on a new or used car. Also, we want to thank Upstate Physical Therapy in Anderson, South Carolina. Also, we want to thank Pepsi Cola and the Point RV at Lake Hartwell. Well, this week I'm doing it solo. Unfortunately, Airese had something that happened that he was unable to be a part of today's show. He's got a friend that's going to be going into the Hall of Fame, and we can just send our congratulations out to him. And also, Airese, we'll be looking for you to come back next week. All right, let's get on to Louisville. Louisville, like I said, 5-3, 3-2 in the ACC. Head coach Jeff Brom, in his second season, doing some pretty good things at Louisville. He's keeping them competitive, but they have really dropped that based on expectations. They were supposed to be one of the top teams in the ACC, and yet they have struggled this year a little bit. So, anyway, Brian Brom is his offensive coordinator. He is in his second year also. Louisville's averaging about 460 yards total per game, which is 14th in the country, and 302.8, which is 10th in the coming through the air, and 157.3, which is 68th on the ground. Wake has scored 36.6 points per game, and they're tied for 20th, so that kind of gives you an idea. Their quarterback is Tyler Shaw, a graduate. He's thrown for 175 out of 272 attempts and is at a 64.3% rating. Thrown for 2,348 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He's going to have to be a very big key to this game. I know they have their running back, Isaac Brown, but he's just a freshman, and he's coming into Death Valley, which is going to be rocking like crazy tonight. This is going to be a night game at Death Valley, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this all shakes out. Their top wide receiver, Ja'Cory Brooks, 44 catches for 799 yards and 8 touchdowns. Avion Terrell is probably going to be up on him most of the night. Their offense is going to have faced a Tiger defense that's got something to prove. Clemson's defense has been good, but not the defense we're used to this year. And even our linebackers have come on the local radio and said, they'd give them a C for the season so far because they feel like they've allowed too many little opportunities. And we're not talking about whenever the third and fourth string defense is on the field because Clemson's up by 30, but the defense that starts still gives up too many yards. So they're looking to make a statement in this game to play 4 straight good quarters against a strong Louisville team and make a statement because as you saw last week, Clemson didn't play and dropped in one of the polls. I mean, there's just a lot of things that the Clemson Tigers have got to get right in this game. And I think a lot of it starts with the defense. They've got to come out. They got to come out strong. They got to do what they got to do to be the best on the field. And they got the players to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think Clemson's going to have a great game. And we'll kind of go over that in just a second. But let me go over their defense. Mark Hagan is in his second season, of course, with Ron English as the defensive coordinators. Louisville's defense is currently giving up 24.6 points per game, which is tied for 72nd in the country. Of course, Clemson is scoring way more than that, so this is going to be interesting to see if they can make that total even go up higher. They're giving up an average of 359 yards per game through 8 games this season. 136.3 yards coming on the ground, which is 58th, and 227 through the air, which is 73rd. So Clemson has a chance to really do well in this game based on just if you look on paper. Of course, when you get in the game, it's a whole different thing. We'll have to see what Clemson does. Do they go out and attack it? You know, Phil Maffa is ready to make a statement himself. He's wanting to show that he is one of the elite running backs in the ACC. And Cade Klubnik is having a phenomenal year. Now, there's several things he still needs to do a little bit better, but he's still having a great year. And I think Clemson has a great upper hand in this game. When it comes to special teams, Clemson special teams has this game. If you look at all 3 phases of the game, Clemson should win this game. But the problem is on paper is totally different from when you get on the field. And some players can just show up out of nowhere and just give the best game of their life. And they do it because they know they're taking on a team that's right now projected to be in the ACC championship game. They want to end that. They want to be the team that does it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Clemson does this game. Dabo Swinney is no stranger to being in this spot. He knows that Louisville is going to be coming out to give their best to try to create a mismatch and to cause the Tigers to think twice. And you know, I just trust Dabo in this game. Nothing against Brom. I just think that Coach Dabo is going to have the Clemson Tigers up and ready to go in this game. Now, as far as the polls go, a lot of people are online. I'm hearing, you know, why they dropped. We all know why they dropped. It's more than just being off a week. Now, one team that I know of was deserved to go up, but we all know it's an SEC Big Ten type of poll. It is what it is. We all have seen this for years. The ACC is not a league that gets a lot of respect now. We do have several teams in the polls, but they're all low. Miami is the only team that's really up, and I got a feeling it's going to be Clemson versus Miami in the ACC championship game as it sits right now. I think Miami still will have a loss before they get there, and that's going to be interesting when that happens, because if that happens, the ACC championship game could eliminate somebody out of the possible playoff picture. But I'm hoping that we get more than 2. I think we could get 3 if everything falls right. I think it could be a Clemson, Pitt, Miami in the playoffs. I mean, that would be great. I think Clemson will defeat Pitt at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. That's all I got for you this week. When you rolling solo, it's really hard to talk for 45 minutes. So I do appreciate Airese when he's here. He definitely gives a new perspective, one that comes from a player that's been there, done that. So anyway, this is this week's Orange Shades podcast. I want to thank everybody, like I said, once again, over at Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina. Go by see Donnie and Angie. You will love the food. The Paladin Burger, the Carolina Caviar, the Arden, the Soul Burger. They got so many world famous burgers over there, and they make them handmade, home from scratch. That's right, their burgers, their patties, you can tell, and when you bite into them, you know they make them each and every day fresh ice cold tea, homemade. I mean, the best stuff you ever had in your mouth. Of course, the double dip wings, American made, American created. You just can't beat Arden's Burger and Grill in South Carolina. Hyundai of Anderson. Go by and see my guy Herschel over there at Hyundai of Anderson in Anderson, South Carolina, off Highway 28 bypass. Also, Upstate Physical Therapy in Anderson. Go by see David and Jimmy. They will treat you right. Also, we want to thank Pepsi Cola and everybody at the Point RV at Lake Hartwell. They have been great. They put up our guests whenever they come in. They are the best. Point RV at Lake Hartwell. Well, this has been Jay with the Orange Shades podcast. Thanking you for watching us each and every week. And this week's prediction, Clemson 42, Louisville 21.